Wait 1 second. Hang on. There we go. Hi, how are you? How are you, everybody? Thanks so much for joining me on this journey. Yeah, it looks like we have quite a few people here. So I just want to start this off saying thanks for being a great part of my community. A lot of you have been with me for almost a year now, since I really started putting out videos in November and December of last year. Thank you. And it's been quite a journey for me too. I wanted to start live streaming to get more comfortable inside, not inside the camera, but in front of the camera, and get better at like live coding and live interviews, and just get better at live debugging in general. And I think I've come quite a way from my first anxiety-ridden streams until now. So I want to thank you for all the support and everything along the way. Already building the walls? What walls? Oh, you mean the bricks behind me? No, I'm actually... So yeah, I want to use this stream to, well, first thank everybody. And then, thanks. Yeah, my hair... This, I mean, this past year has also shown the evolution of my hair, I guess, from my quarantine shave and like 50 different hairstyles. That's also been interesting outside of just coding. So yeah, I also want to talk about, hi Katie from Madrid, cool. Yeah, I also want to talk about some of the future content and what I want to do with this channel and in the future. It's evolved a bit over the last year, but I still have the goal to participate a lot in the open source community and do a lot of streams where I'm actually working on code where I contribute things that are potentially useful to other people, which is where the curriculum app and some of the other apps I've been working on have stemmed from. So as I get better at streaming and coding in general, I'm trying to do more of that stuff as well. Shout out to the cats. Yeah, the kittens, actually, the kittens I just had their surgery and they're getting adopted. So I'm just back to, you know, having 2 chill adult cats for a while. Thanks everybody. Abhishek. Hey Abhishek. I used to work with someone named Abhishek. Have you ever felt demotivated regarding programming? Yeah, I would say I made a video on this channel about burnout. So I definitely have been burned out several times, mostly my own fault for not, you know, balancing my life correctly and just basically working too much and not having good routines where I'd get up, walk away from my desk and stuff like that. But I think right now I'm in a pretty good spot where I've found what I love to do with programming. I really like live streaming and tutorials. I don't really get much anxiety anymore about them. Even negative comments and stuff don't really faze me. It's like, whatever. I do want to say a couple things. Am I still using Firefox? Yes, but I have started using Brave a bit more. Partially because of Vue DevTools and a few other things. So I switch off between Firefox and Brave, but Firefox is still my default browser. Should you learn Vue 2 or Vue 3? It doesn't matter. Either way, you're going to be learning the options API. I would say if you're going to start today, I would learn Vue 2 because all of the libraries, tools, everything you're going to use is compatible with Vue 2 right now. And since Vue 3 is kind of a soft rollout where they're rolling out in phases, it's going to be, I'd say, at least a month or two before there's a lot of compatibility for Vue 3. So I would, if you're just starting out, I would wait for Vue 3. If you're already a Vue user, then it's nice to try Vue 3, as I have done this past week, which is awesome. Hi, Gargandeep. How are you? Could you talk more about what you found you love in programming? Most people would say programming is difficult and they run away. Yeah, I would say what I love is the challenge and getting to create things every day, and it's such a rewarding career. And so a little bit about my background. I actually dropped out of high school, and Then I ended up going back and finishing high school, and then I went to college and went for computer engineering. I ended up dropping out because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I felt lost, and I worked in a lot of different industries. I traveled around. I worked in restaurants and sales, and I was terrible at sales. But yeah, I never felt fully fulfilled in those careers. Also, especially working at certain places like entry-level jobs, there were a lot of negative people around me. There were a lot of people like that, I don't know, I guess that needed some help in certain ways. Like they were doing drugs or drinking a lot, and that was just a really negative environment for me to be in. So when I finally got myself together and like committed to coding every day in 2014 and like really solidified my resolve to be a programmer, a professional programmer, since then, I mean, I've just been so happy with my career, with the kind of people around me, people who want to learn and grow and better themselves, and not, me being stuck in like this big negative environment. And then, like I said, I get to challenge myself every day, create new things, build new things, work with some of the smartest people I could ever imagine exist. So yeah, that's what I love about programming and the tech space. And I just like computers in general. I'm kind of nerdy sci-fi computer person, so I really like it. Firefox has great support for showing CSS grid related to your stuff. Yes, Firefox has excellent dev tools, so I hope they keep properly maintaining it, because they're doing so well right now, and I would be very sad if something ever happened to Firefox, the only browser that's not made by one of these huge giants. Hi Yamzi, I like the fact that your channel is getting more specific, well-structured front end with backend plus a dice of Docker. The channel has really grown. Thanks. Yeah, I've been thinking about streamlining in one direction. I'm mostly just doing tutorials on technologies I love and walkthroughs and that kind of stuff. And then I do Gwenthug, what? And then I do 3 live streams a week on Twitch. Now I do have some ideas for the future about like specializing in some areas or an area, and I don't want to announce that yet, though I am going back to school for a CS degree next year, and then hopefully going to get my master's after that, because I do want to be doing some research and doing, I guess, some deeper things that I feel like I could use a degree for now. So yeah, but I don't want to talk too much about that until I have well thought out plan to explain what I'm doing, basically. Yeah, thanks everyone. Paul creates, can you recommend any open source repo to contribute to for a beginner? I mean, pretty much everyone recommends, contributing to documentation on repos that you already use. I don't know. I mean, the one that I would say for a beginner is to contribute to the Free Code Camp repo, and that's just because they have very clear instructions and even a video walkthrough on how to get it running locally. And then on their issues, they label issues like good first timer only, or no, good for first timers, or first timer only, or easy. They have a couple different labels that, and then okay, I can pick up this ticket and start working and introduce myself into the Free Code Camp ecosystem. So I think that's a good repo. Other than that, it's mostly, I would say most of the time you want to start with small repos of tools that you already use and just try to dig through them and start contributing where you can. Oh yeah, I did do my last talk. Thanks, nobodies. I did do the last interview I had on this channel was about contributing to open source. So you can watch that. Eddie does a lot of content on open source stuff. Do you think freelance programming is saturated? Every market is saturated, but there's always room for good freelancers. I've worked with some really good freelancers we've hired at companies, and then I've worked with some that just weren't they just weren't cutting it. They either weren't doing the job or didn't understand what we needed or something like that. So there's always room for good quality skilled people in any area, I think. I know opera's good. Yeah, so, I want to say something. So I made a comment on somebody's video about React the other day, and it was a joke, but I'm really not good at making jokes, so I think someone took it the wrong way. So I just want to say, like, I'm not against any technology. Of course, I have my opinions and my favorites, and I've been slightly opinionated with things I've said in the past, but, they're just my opinions. It's not like they're always right, because I've been wrong quite a few times. So, yeah, I don't want anyone to think, like, I hate this technology or I hate that technology. It's just, I think everything isn't so black and white. Like if I rate React a 6 out of 10 and Vue an 8 out of 10, it doesn't mean that one is terrible. I just think one is better than the other. So I think that gets taken out of context sometimes. I smell Gwen going into AI or data science. I worked for 18 months. Was it 18 or was it 14? It was I can't even remember now how many months I worked. Oh, hi, Eddie. Thanks for joining me. I worked for over a year in ML at a company. Yeah, it was hard. I was studying for I set a goal to study for 3 hours every day, similar to what I was doing before I got my first job in software development. So I was studying AI and ML 3 hours a day, and on top of my regular job and on top of my volunteering, and I got so burned out with it. And yeah, and I think that's why I largely stopped doing it for the last year or so now. So I've taken a break, and I really like data and working with data. I'm just not sure exactly like where I would want to take it next if I dive back into it. Yeah, but we'll see. I also have some blockchain ideas that I want to build and come up with. I've pitched a couple blockchain ideas in the past, so I think that's a really big thing. She always spoke about blockchain. Yes. Yeah, I definitely want to do more blockchain. Am I doing freelancing? Yeah, I am. So freelancing, consulting, whatever you want to call it. I took a break for like 2.5 weeks, and now I started back again. Yeah, so I am doing, I guess, 15 or 20 billable hours a week again now. So I'm trying to balance that with my content, because there's always some non-billable hours that I need to do, maybe 5 or so non-billable hours for every 15 billable hours for consulting. So yeah, I'm trying to balance my time between content and that. Oh, hey Jared, how are you? Good to see you. You got to talk about some OSS stuff. Cool. What do you say to people who don't know English and want to learn CS? It sounds like you know English, but maybe you used a translator. Or maybe you're talking for a friend. Yeah, I really don't know. There is CS material in any language, I would imagine, any major language. So, yeah, I don't know what there is available. I found courses in all different kinds of languages, though. I recently have been getting back into Spanish, so I've been trying to take I found a blockchain course on, I think it's Coursera in Spanish. So I was going through that to pick up some tech terms in Spanish, which funny enough, they were mostly English words that were ported over to Spanish, so it wasn't really like I was learning a lot from that. Cristiano, who inspired you to be a programmer? I always wanted to be in tech, so my dad is a big tech person and an engineer, and I was like, I really want to do something with computers and tech. We always had computers around. It might actually be, maybe my biggest influence though was video games, because I used to play Age of Empires competitively online, if anyone remembers AoE 2. Civilization, I used to sit in front of the computer for I remember sitting one time 25 hours I was playing a Civilization game with only taking a break to eat and stuff, and that was it. So yeah, I got so into computer games and trying to build RPGs, so that was a big factor in starting to code. Hi Trey Wells. Pretty unrelated to coding, but is there a reason you decided to brand yourself Faraday Academy as opposed to your name? I wanted something more general because I wanted to do collaborations with other people. And I had coding with Gwen before, and it was very juvenile. I felt like I felt like a kid. Like, I don't know, like I was a teenager doing something goofy. So I wanted it to be a bit nicer. I like the name Faraday. I think it's a cool name. But yeah, that's why I decided, because Faraday Academy was my homeschool name, so I was like, yeah, I can't think of anything better, so I'll just, I'll just borrow that. Twitter likes being outraged. Oh, maybe that was from a while ago. Is it realistic for someone to code 12 hours a day, or do you recommend it better for someone to code 3 hours a day so they can retain the info? Is it realistic to code 12 hours a day? Yes, during a hackathon, and then you feel burned out for a couple days. I've done the 12-hour coding days, and I don't think they're sustainable. I mean, unless you're like a superhuman robot. I think like balance. So I'm trying to block off a couple hours of focus time in the morning and then a couple in the afternoon where I can just like code and then just basically stand up for a few minutes every hour and just think about code the whole time. And outside of that, I might do some like light bug fixes, documentation, other things outside of my focus time, but I'm trying to get like 6 to 8 hours a day, 5 days a week of focused coding. And outside of that, I just want to do all of the rest of the related like tangential tasks that I need to get done. Because too much focus time gives me really bad brain burnout. Thanks, nickname. Thanks, everybody. How do you find time to do everything? You do so much. I don't know. Do I do so much? I basically manage my time. I use the getting things done method. Also, I would say I'm not that interesting of a person, I guess. Like, I don't do too much outside of coding. You know, most of my life is focused on coding and tutorials and work and being on the computer. So I guess that helps. Also, I know, Eddie, you have a family, you have a kid. I don't have any kids, so I think that gives me, more time to do stuff during the day. Yeah. Faraday Academy. What about the Korean? Yeah, I haven't done Korean. Did I win? I haven't done Korean in a while, but one of these days I will pick it back up. Did I win? Did I win what, Jared? I don't know. Oh, in Age of Empires. Oh, that must be back from... Man, I'm so behind in the chat. That must be back from Age of Empires. Yeah, I won a lot. I was really good. And, I don't think people thought I was like a 13-year-old, 12-year-old girl or whatever. Yeah, I cannot believe you used to play Age of Empires. Oh, you're still playing? Yeah, I saw it online. Last year, and I was like, I have to close my browser right now, or I'm never going to get anything done again. Can't use my Twitch emotes. I want to do academic research, but feel like I'm too old. Why are you too old, Eduardo? I don't know. I think you can get into it at any age. I've seen some people, there's this website called fast.ai, and you basically learn AI ML skills on there in Python. And I saw some people in like a year or two. I mean, they worked every day at it. They worked really hard at it, but they were doing research and winning Kaggle competitions in like a year or two, and I was just blown away by that. That was awesome. So I don't think anybody's really too old to do that. Jared's coworker, he got his first dev job. How old was he? I don't want to say exactly, but he was up there. Up there's kind of bad too. I don't know how to say it, but yeah, nobody's really too old. Eddie, I am the kid. I have a rabbit. Oh, I thought you did. Oh, maybe that was someone else I interviewed. Sorry. You need to relax a little. Burnout is real. Yeah. Alan says, what is my day job? My day job, I work with, well, right now it's just one company, but I have a few different companies that I, basically they pay me hourly, and then I do, let's say they want, I don't know, 50 hours worth of Vue.js updates on their app, then maybe I work 10 hours a week and I bill them like halfway through the project and then at the end. And then another company wants me for Django like 15 hours a week, and so I bill them every other week, and that's kind of just an ongoing thing. So that's what I do. I work at a couple different companies, so I thought academic stuff was for old people. What's my educational background? So I mentioned this a couple times, but I dropped out of computer engineering, but I'm going back for a computer science degree next year. So that's my basic educational background. Other than that, I've taken a lot of courses, a few certifications, stuff like that. Yeah, mostly I would say I'm self-taught. There are people who've learned to program at age 70. Yes. Muckless? What's your favorite JS framework for backend? So I haven't used too many different ones. I would say my favorite is Express, because I always end up building like scaffolding backends really quickly. Yeah, I would say I've mostly used Express. I know that's the boring answer, because I tried Happy and a bunch of other ones, Sales, and I don't know. I really just didn't like them as much, especially for building microservices. Express is so built out. There's so many plugins. It's so robust that I haven't found another one that I like a lot. But it might happen. Like I might switch to another one. Not switch, but try out another JavaScript framework. But also, I use Flask and Django on the back end as well. I've used Go, Gin on the back end. So I might not be doing too much JavaScript backend, although I am going to start using Dino, so I'll have to see what frameworks work well on that platform. Eddie, how do you pick how much time to work to do client work versus community work? Yeah, that's a struggle. I basically max myself out right now and say I'm not going to do more than 25 hours a week on client work, because it's just my stress level goes up too much. So yeah, so I set a maximum limit, and then I have calendar blocks. Every Sunday I block out my calendar for the week, and there's a little bit of leeway, but I basically have this many hours per day for content, this many hours per day for consulting, and then I schedule other things, like I'm gonna check my email on Thursday. And by the way, I'm getting so many emails now. I am very, very backed up. So if you tried to send me an email, I will try to get to you soon, or you can contact me on Discord, because I am much more likely to reply quickly on Discord because I try to check there every day. Jared says, how many hours do I dedicate to partying hard? That would be 0. At my age, no, I don't party, I don't drink. I watch Back to the Future and some other movies. That's it. Oh, I missed this. Gwen, do you love the front end side or the back end? I noticed your smiles are different with Vue. I do love Vue. Actually, I would say I don't like front end as much as back end, but I enjoy working in Vue. I just don't like having to lay out a page or do like CSS so much. Sass can be enjoyable because I feel like I'm writing in, I don't know, it's a JavaScript framework for CSS kind of. It feels like you're writing a regular programming language. But yeah, I usually prefer the back end, but I don't mind the front end. I think now, I don't know, now that I've been in my career for 5 years as a professional, I look back and see, years ago I was so opinionated and I was so like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And now I just see it like, oh, it's all coding, I don't hate this or hate that, I'm just coding. It's just another day. So, I mean, there are some things I prefer not to do, especially really legacy code. Any suggestions to get a remote job in, I don't know. I mean, everything is basically remote, or most things have moved remote, at least in the US. Yeah, I don't know what sites exactly. There are some sites like View Jobs and specific remote sites. I've applied there before. Like I applied at X-Team and I was going through their interview. I really can't remember what happened with that. I'd have to look up what happened. But that was the same time I was applying at Capital One in a few places, and then I ended up finding a job, so I had to email the rest of the companies saying I already found a job. So that might have been what happened, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know exactly. Why integrating Vue or any front-end framework with Django is tough in case we are deploying them to the same server and multiple people working on it. I don't think it's tough. Is it tough? It depends what you're doing. It's always a little bit harder to deploy if your backend is an API and it's not connected. So if you're using a full stack Django app and you're using Vue kind of as a jQuery drop-in replacement, then it's pretty easy to deploy. But if you're doing a separate API, separate front end in two different repos or in two different containers or however you're deploying it, it's a bit harder, but I don't think it's too tough. That's actually what I just did in my app in my last two videos, though, if you want to take a look at how I did it. Yeah. Or you could jump into my Discord server and we can chat more about that. People usually start studying at a young age, and after 10 years they are PhD. I wasted my time. Yeah, I don't think you need to anymore, though. There are plenty of people without PhDs posting that are, publishing really good papers. It does take a lot of work. It's not like you can just, gloss over, or like the infamous recent case of copy pasting someone else's paper. But if you work at it for a couple years, I think you could legitimately be posting your own research. Is there any way you optimize your brain? Oh, I do meditation, some spiritual practice. I don't want to talk too much about spiritualism on the stream, but I try to relieve my stress. Also, my Apple Watch, I have the settings to where it reminds me to breathe every so often, every couple hours, like stop and breathe. I go for walks now. I used to think walks were a waste of time, but it really helps for me to like just think and calm down and de-stress, clear my head. I've also, this isn't really stress relief, but I started writing down everything I do, how I spend my time, pretty much every minute of the day now, so that I can see where I'm spending time, where I can free up more time, and where I'm wasting time, and stuff like that. What about Golang? I'm coming from Python Django background. Did you think Golang is going to make some future of tech? Yeah, I think Golang is going to continue to grow and become more popular, especially with some of the newer frameworks coming out in Golang. It's such a nice, fast, simple language. It's really enjoyable to use. Should I learn design or front-end dev? Because I'm really bad at this. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to build apps for yourself, I think it's really valuable to learn some front-end and design work, because so many things are heavily done in the browser now, and for mobile apps too, a lot of things are done in the front end of the mobile app, using cross-platform technologies and stuff. I think it's really valuable for, even if you work on the back end, it's nice to understand the user interface and UX and stuff. Hi, Ashay. Thanks for the streamers. alcohol sucks because after drinking it, you cannot do anything productive. Exactly. And that is why I don't do it anymore. Do I use any design system? I don't think so. I mean, I use software for mockups, and I use a process when I'm designing or helping design an app. So I'm not an official designer, but for some small projects, I will do mockups, some basic client research. Most of my research is architectural research that I do for companies. But if I'm doing like just a proof of concept or something, then I will do the mockups, some design research, some prototypes, getting feedback, just a few things like that. But I'm not really like a UX expert. Do you think you will hire Eddie? You think I'm not that big where I'd hire people team around me to help me scale? So honestly, I did hire someone to help me with social media. So she runs my Faraday Academy Twitter and helps me with Instagram. And she really streamlines it for me because we talk about the posts we're going to make and the kind of plan. And then she sends me a list of people that I need to reply to or message. And then I just have to go down the list and like check them off. So that's been a big stress reliever for me, was hiring her to do that for me. Plus she's really cool and fun to work with. So it feels like we're a team. I hope I get to start to pay her for more hours as my channel and content grows. Hi, Anurag. Hi from India. Hi, Anthony. It's good to see you again. What are the software development trends that you are currently seeing right now in the market? Trends? I think WebAssembly and blockchain are huge, big trends. I mean, yeah, they're pretty much all of the buzzwords that you see. The other trends are mostly like stuff we already use, I would say, like JavaScript and Python for data science and a couple things like that. I don't know if there's any other real trends that we see. I would say actually the no-code movement is this very, very big trend that I've been following over the last year, where developers will, or where you'll be able to build a website using the same logic, the same everything that you type out with code right now, but just in an interface. And it's not gonna, stink like a 2010 Dreamweaver or something. This is like actually good customizable interfaces that you'll be able to do with no or little code. I think that is going to be huge in the next 5 to 10 years. Also, AI taking over certain parts of our job is coming up quickly. From seeing advancements in how AI is writing code now, it writes surprisingly good code in certain situations. What do you think about Java in making microservices? I think it's okay. It feels like more of an enterprise solution to me. I mean, I worked in Java Spring a little bit, and it was, it's just overly, in my opinion, it's very, very verbose. And yeah, I'm not sure that it's like trending or anything right now, but it's so big already, and the JVM is just so huge. And with Scala and Clojure and the ecosystem being so big, I think it's always a good bet to write anything in Java to future-proof it. But yeah, I don't personally use Java anymore. So discipline equals freedom. What? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Discipline equals freedom? Paul creates, what is your process when you get stuck on a programming problem? Sometimes it's like a feeling of overwhelm, and then I have to calm down, go for a walk, and then come back and try to just step through and solve it. I will say it's really, really hard to do it live. like when I'm live streaming to walk through a problem, because it's already like I have to talk at the same time, think, and at the same time interact with chat, and then step through the problem. So what is my process though when I'm in a quiet room? I usually just try to ask myself questions, write down information in my notebook. Like what I've been doing lately is like writing through the problem. Like, okay, when I do this, I get this error. It says this, it comes from this place. This Stack Overflow answer is related to that. This GitHub issue is related to that. And then I try to piece together all the information. And that's been really helping me like focus and debug and not go down like, a big rabbit hole on the internet while I'm trying to debug a deep problem. So I think just having my notebook open and debugging while I'm writing things down. I don't know how to explain it, but that's basically what's been helping me. I also have a big problem getting distracted, so now I have all these systems to like stop me from getting distracted. You want to apply blockchain problems to solve what kind of problems? I've been interested in decentralized companies, in other decentralized entities. We built a test project for the government, not for the government, for our local government, for identity management. So I'm interested in quite a few different areas, but I would say my biggest interest is in decentralized organizations. How do I read through documentation? I try to make it into a game. If the documentation is big, I try to reference different areas and count how many hops I make to different areas in documentation. Maybe it sounds weird, but it makes it fun for me because then I count how many hops I've gone down. So I really like, I did that with the ECMAScript standard, and then the Django docs and some of the other docs. But if it's smaller docs, I just have to buckle down and read it basically. Abdullah, are there any tutorials in your channel talking about GitHub Actions? Yeah, so the first Docker video I made like a week and a half ago, that one talks about the GitHub Actions that I used. That was my first time using GitHub Actions too, instead of GitLab CI. So that was kind of fun to try it out. But that video talks about how I use GitHub Actions, and then you can see my GitHub Actions files in my repo that's associated with that tutorial. Your first website was in Dreamweaver. I used to use Dreamweaver too and make horrendously poorly coded websites. Hi everyone. So, have you ever dealt with this situation? I have a full stack Django project, but have one URL dashboard. I want to integrate front-end framework, most likely Vue.js, full stack, not as a CDN. Part 1 of 3. Oh, I guess I don't see the rest. Okay, I'll wait for you to finish typing. Nobody says, so you are disciplined and that gives you control over your time, therefore you're free to plan it out like you want. Yes, because if I'm not proactive with my time, then stuff gets out of control and I will check my messages too often. I have 0 notifications on my phone right now, unless you call me. I turn everything off. I have browser blockers. I use Freedom to block apps on my phone. I have all kinds of stuff set up to not hijack my time so that I can, streamline my time more and time everything that I do. And that way I can free up blocks of time to relax, go for a walk. And I don't know, I just feel so much more clear-headed since I started doing this. I mean, some days I have off days where everything is going awry, but as long as I can stick to a good schedule, like 80% of the time, I figure I'm really happy with that. Eddie, your wife says you're always so relaxed and chill. I'm glad she thinks that. Paul creates. Thanks. Cool. MB Timothy, are you going to do anything with Arduinos or microcontrollers? That's very interesting because behind this green screen, I have like, I don't know, maybe 15 Raspberry Pis, a dozen Arduinos, a BeagleBone, like a whole bunch of different stuff. So I want to, but I just don't know how I'd stream it. Like I'd have to set up a camera. I was thinking about that. Like if I wanted to stream, connecting something to a breadboard, I'd need to set up a camera and figure out how. Yeah, I just don't have a setup. So maybe when my channel gets bigger and I can hire someone to help me figure it out, then I would love to do more IoT projects though. I also have a 3D printer, so I could print out some cool stuff to go with it. Any deep learning and machine learning coming soon? Not really, but I'm going to do a big tutorial of Jupyter notebooks at some point with Python. So that's going to use some simple things, just some basic NumPy and pandas and stuff like that. Hi, I can't read that. Oh, Ahmed. I learned Vue from your tutorial. Are you planning on doing any Vue 3? Yeah, so I did my first Vue 3 stream it was yesterday on Twitch, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm planning pretty much every week now. I'll be doing at least one Vue 3 thing between videos and live streams. So I'll be doing a lot of Vue 3. Also on Eddie's channel, we're going to do a big Vue 3 party in a couple weeks. You want to create your own blockchain solution and offer it as a SaaS? I'm not sure. I'm not sure the model. There's a couple other apps I'm working on first that are going to come out this year, and some open source projects. So, but I'm kind of planning in the background and just writing out all my ideas around this blockchain project. I mean, there's two different business models, and I really like the open source business model, like Ghost and WordPress and some other places. Like you can use it for free, but you can also pay a little bit more to use our easy to use managed solution. So yeah, I really like that. When did you get the logics and coding? When did you get the logic? When did I learn to code? Is that what you're saying? I'd say I learned as a teenager, like the basics, and then went to college, and then eventually taught myself enough to, after wasting a couple years, I taught myself enough to get a job as a professional. I think that's what you're asking. I'm not sure about that question. Who's invited to what party? Did I say I had a party? What's your take on AWS, or do you prefer DigitalOcean? Yeah, I used AWS exclusively pretty much for several years, from like 2016 through the end of 2018. Then I started using DigitalOcean for a couple like easier things. So I like DigitalOcean because I can just spin up a container so easily. And with AWS, there's always extra steps and extra things that I have to do. But that's with EC2. Now there is, what is it called? Lightstream, which is an easier way to spin up EC2 containers. But I really haven't used that because I'm so used to using EC2. But then I just switched to DigitalOcean, for one thing, because it's not owned by Amazon. So I kind of like using something that's not just on Amazon. But, oh, the Vue 3 party. Yeah, everyone is invited to that. But it is on the 8th. The 8th of next month at 1 p.m. EDT. No, October 8th. Oh, actually, that's my brother's birthday. Forgot about that. Thank you, Gwen. I'm done with my question today. I'm happy to meet you in your channel. Thanks, Eduardo, and good luck with your future research. Feel free to post and let me know about what you find out. I mean that I know the basics, but I cannot code. Oh, okay. Yeah, what got me past the basics was basically finding a curriculum and sticking to a structure, which for me, back in 2015, this was after I built a couple mobile apps, because I took the mobile course on Team Treehouse in 2014. Then 2015, I found Free Code Camp, and I went through pretty much the whole curriculum, and then I built a lot of the projects. And that's where, when I started to build those projects after I went through the Free Code Camp curriculum, that's where I really would say I felt like I was a coder, because I could see something. I thought it was great, but looking back, it was just okay. But I could see like a tangible result of my effort. And then as I built more and more projects, and I also used spaced repetition learning study decks to learn concepts and terms. So when I really started remembering how to do things from project to project and getting better at it, that's when I felt like wow, like I can really be a developer. I'm not just, a hobbyist anymore. How do you learn a tech when it's very recent? You just start trying it out. Sometimes, recent tech isn't that well documented. But I think what's important to learn tech in general, and what I've seen, especially from working with certain bootcamp students and like junior devs, the people that get the furthest, the fastest, are those who question everything. Like, what will happen if I add this to my print statement in Python? Or what would happen if I change these variables? Or, they try things out, and they're not afraid to break things. They try things out, see why they're getting a certain error. And I think they're not just following a tutorial. And I think for those people, they just advance so much more quickly. So I think that's the 1 million. I think that's the key to becoming a really good developer, is by doing that. Why doesn't Faraday Academy have 1 million subs? Because I just started. I'm still learning how to make videos, how to edit, getting better at this. So if I had 1 million subs, that would be a lot of pressure right now. Is there a curriculum that you recommend for learning Python and building projects? Well, Free Code Camp just released their Python curriculum. A lot of it is data science heavy. Let's see, for Python, I would say Free Code Camp's Python, they've been working on it for a couple years. So to learn the basics, they also have some YouTube videos that are like 3 or 4 hours long. Oh, that guy, Sam, I think his name is, they're having someone stream like Python, intro to Python every single week on the Free Code Camp YouTube channel, and he's really good. Other than that, the site that I use still to this day to learn new Python and keep my skills up to date is Talk Python to Me. They have a podcast, and they also have they have courses on their site, and they're all really good. They have some that are for beginners, like their 100 Days of Code course and stuff like that. And I think I don't know if they have a monthly subscription, but I just bought a whole year, a bundle of all their courses like 2 years ago. So I've benefited from a lot of their courses on there. Thanks, Vipin. Any more plans on CI/CD? Yeah, I need to put Ansible in the app, and I need to clean up some things that are still outstanding. There's still a lot. The War of Art. No, I haven't read that. Wondering if you ever felt resistance that he talks about when working? No, I'm not sure, but I'll look that up. I love to read, so thanks for the recommendation. They have some free courses on Talk Python to Me. Cool. You should definitely Talk Python to Me. You should definitely check that site out. It's really, really good. Kaggle Python. Oh, I forgot about Kaggle. Yeah, Kaggle is a really great, they have a lot of great community information on learning Python. And then they also have basic data sets that like have instructions for how to start working with them in Python. So yeah, I really enjoyed using that site a couple years ago. That helped me learn a lot. Nikhil, do you think it's better freelancing? I'm currently working for a company. I don't know. I can't say. Freelancing is tough because, like, you have to work more to get clients, and you have to network a lot. You have to, you don't always have a stable paycheck. Like, sometimes you're paid every 2 weeks, sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's 6 weeks. So it can vary a lot when freelancing. So if you're thinking about freelancing, then it's a good thing to start with building up your network right now, with putting out tutorials, writing articles, going to meetups, just anything you can do to start branding yourself as an expert in whatever area you want to work in. Because it takes a while to build that up and really be able to freelance. Like, it's just really these past 2 years that I've been doing community work here for like over 5 years now, like 5.5 years. And it's really been these last 2 years where, I've known enough people and networked enough where I could start freelancing. What cloud would you advise someone to learn? I can't really advise someone because I've only used AWS Cloud. I used like Google Cloud in a couple hackathons and, using Azure at a client, but I really wasn't the person managing Azure. So yeah, I've pretty much only used AWS. So if I'm to recommend something, it's going to be AWS, but that's not really a good, thorough answer, Corey Schaefer here on YouTube. Yeah, Corey Schaefer is awesome. I love Corey Schaefer. I've definitely benefited from a lot of his videos. I totally get Lane Armitage, Young Sheldon vibe. Yeah, people from what's that show called? Can't even remember the name of that show. If someone knows that show with Sheldon on it, post it. But people have said that before. I don't know what it is about my personality. I'll have to watch the show. Oh, Big Bang Theory. Thank you. Milan, how realistic is it to start freelancing with no prior work experience? Again, it's difficult. It's difficult to freelance. And if you have no work experience, no network, and don't have a following online, then it's hard because you're spending, I would say you're spending more than half your time trying to find and manage clients, versus if you took a job first, you would get experience, and then on the side you could kind of build up your your network and your possibilities for the future, and you could be writing your blog, branding yourself and working on that for a year or two and then start freelancing. However, I think Real Tough Candy, I think she only worked at a company for like less than a year, and she has gotten a lot of good freelancing clients. She put out a course on freelancing. So if you want to check out Real Tough Candy, she has a book on freelancing, and then actually she let me audit her new site that came out, so realtoughcandy.io, and she she has a freelancing course on there, and I definitely recommend it. She is great at compiling and breaking down information if you do want to get into freelancing. Vue versus React. I'm not going to talk about that, but if you look at my channel content, you'll know which one I prefer. Try watching Big Bang without the laugh track. Oh, I didn't know it had a laugh track. How would you balance outdoor life and staying on the screen? I'd say I have to force myself to go for walks, and really I don't even get out that much anymore. Like, I watered some plants that someone planted for me today, so I was outside for 7 minutes, and I do need to get outside more, so thanks for reminding me about that. But a lot of times I take walks inside the house, since COVID anyway. I know you love DigitalOcean, but if you're free, please do a tutorial on a Maven app with proper CI/CD on AWS. Yeah, that will be at least a month or two out. I have a bunch of things backed up right now. Are you planning on doing more tutorials on Vue.js, like data visualization? That's a good idea. I should do data visualization. I like charts.js, and I think there's a viewport for charts. So yeah, maybe my next app should be something different, because they're always like store apps and stuff. Maybe those are getting kind of boring. Try out the Discord server. Yeah, post your ideas in the Discord server, please. The link's in the description. Okay, I think this is the last question because I have to go in a second. Paul creates, would you consider collaborating with the junior dev working on a simple project or refactoring old projects in the near future? Yeah, I would definitely. Ben, I would roasted. Yeah, I've seen his videos. He's just opinionated. Like I don't think he means any harm by like dissing any other framework or language or anything, or yeah, he makes kind of dry humor jokes and stuff. But I did see his latest one on Vue. That was kind of interesting to see someone who'd never touched Vue before try to use it. Yeah, okay, collaborating with his junior dev. I am interested in more collaborations. Of course, I'm collaborating with Eddie coming up. There's another person, or two more people that I'm scheduling collaborations with for October. And then I would like to collaborate with the junior dev. That's interesting. I'm not sure who. So when I did my Python streams on YouTube a long time ago, like 6 months ago, there was a bootcamp student I had on, and we tried to solve the game of life problem together. So, okay, Jared. Is it bad to have your own opinion? No. Opinions are good. What are my consulting fees? Yeah, I don't want to announce that, but they vary a little bit based off of the type of work. Like if I'm running a team versus doing something easy and there's a project manager just giving me tickets, or yeah, depending on what I'm doing, how much effort it's going to take, I bill a little bit differently. And if it's a really fun project, then I might bill a little bit less because I just want to get that project. But in general, I charge a pretty good rate that includes, I include the non-billable hours that I'm going to have to work. I include context switching. When I think about my rate, I include everything. The health insurance that they're not paying for, because in America, we don't get health insurance from the government. We have to pay a fortune for healthcare. So, yeah, so I include all of that stuff in my fees. So I really, I sat down and calculated how much I want, how much I need, what are the going rates for consultants in my area and doing things. So I wonder how it would look to use new Vue reactivity system in React. Yeah, React definitely needs to steal a couple things from Vue 3 updates, just like Vue stole from React. So I think it's good. Yeah, zero health insurance. Although if you go to the emergency room in America, they cannot turn you away legally. But they will send you, literally, this happened to me. They send you 8 different bills. One for the ambulance, one for the doctor, one for the staff costs or something, one for the scans that you have to get. Tests are a different bill from a different company. It's just really confusing to have to work with healthcare here. Anyway, don't want to get into healthcare. Yeah, thanks everyone for being a part of this community. I do have to go now. If you have any other questions, comments, want to chat with me throughout the week, then you basically can join my Discord and I will chat with you throughout the week. I would love to have more people in my Discord. So I really appreciate you being part of this community, and I will probably have another video up on YouTube on Monday, and I will be streaming again Wednesday and Thursday on my Twitch channel next week. So have a great night, everybody. Take care.